Hello Divination and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to download and install our free header and footer template for Divi's Chess Club layout pack. This is the final result we're aiming to achieve. So without wasting a lot of time, let's dive in and let's get started. All right, so the first thing we need to do is to head over to this blog post, which I'll link to in the show notes below. Next, we need to download the layout pack. So I'm going to come over here, click on get it for free today, enter my email address, and then click download. Now there's one more step. We also need to click here on download the files. Okay, so you can see here my files have been downloaded to the bottom of my screen here. The next step is to unzip these files. So I'm going to go ahead now, show in Finder, and then unzip. So here it is. I'm going to double click on it. And here it is here on my desktop. The next step is to go further into this folder because we need to use this single file. Okay, so now that I have this open, I'm just going to drag this over here to my other screen because we need to jump into our website and install this template. So what I'm going to do now is to go into my WordPress admin dashboard and scroll all the way down here to Divi. Click on theme builder, and as you can see, I don't have any themes installed here. And in fact, you know what? I might as well show you how our header and footer looks like before we install this header and footer template. Okay, so this is what we have so far. As you can see, this is pretty basic and there's no footer over here. So this is what we need to change. So to do that, now we need to come over here to portability. Now, remember that file that we unzipped, we need to import it now. So I'm going to click here on import, and then I'm just going to drag this back here so you can see it. And then this is the file we need. I'm just going to drag it over here like that, making sure you have these two items checked. I'm going to click import Divi theme builder template. Excellent. So now my header and footer has been installed. Next, I need to click on save changes. Now I need to refresh this page and see what change has been done to my website. So I'm going to refresh this. And here we go. So now you can see we have a totally different header, and let's take a look and see what the footer looks like. And here we have a brand new footer. So this looks really nice. Now what we need to do as well, what I recommend is when you install a header and footer like this of a specific layout pack, it's always a good idea to also go in and add a page from that layout pack. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click here on enable visual builder. So I'm going to click here. And we need to add a layout. So I'm going to click here on load from library. So what we're targeting here is our pre-made layouts. So I'm going to search for chess. And here, as you can see, we have several pages that we can use in our design. So I'm just going to go with, let's go with this landing page. I'm going to click on use this layout, but I'm going to replace all existing content. So I'm going to click here on use this content. Okay, so there you go. As you can see, my layout has been installed. And now everything matches. So I'm just going to exit the visual builder here so we can see. Okay, so now you can see that our header here matches with the rest of our website. And this looks very, very professional, and all our colors work well together. And also the footer really blends into this design. All right, so what I'm going to do next is to go in and show you how you can customize or at least make some changes to this header and footer. So to do that, I'm going to come back over here to my theme builder. So let's start with our global header. So I'm going to click on this pencil icon. Now this is going to take us into our builder. So let's start with this main section here. So I'm going to click here on section settings. So on the background here, we can see we have this dark color. So if you wanted to change that, you can change this to whatever color you want. And I highly recommend that you choose colors from your color palette. So as you can see here, as I'm changing through these, the colors are updating. Okay, so this is where you want to change your background color. So I'm not going to go ahead and add a different color. This is just me showing you where these changes can be done. Next, over here, we have this pattern here. So as you can see, this pattern here is fitting the whole background. So if you're not a fan of that, you can just delete it by just doing that. And now you have a plain background. So you can also have a solid color right there in the background. Okay, so that's how you change that main background area. Next, let's take a look at these social media icons. So to access these social media icons, you can see here it's quite tight. I can't really access them. So you can go ahead now and click here, or if you're finding it difficult, you can just come to the bottom here, click on this layers icon. So this now will give us access to pretty much everything that we have on our site. So far, this is column 1. You can see here it's highlighted as I click on it here. So in that column, this is where we have our social media. So I'm going to click on this gear icon to go into my social media follow settings. So the most important thing we need to do here is to make sure that we add our links to our social media pages. So I'm going to start here with Facebook. So I'm going to click on this gear icon, and then over here on the link, this is where you need to add your link, because if you don't do this, then you won't be able to get your visitors to those specific links. Okay, so back over here, let's say you want to add another social media channel. You can just duplicate the one that is existing here, and then you can just go in and click here on this drop down to change it. So let's say you want to add Pinterest, you can just do that, and you can see that they all look the same. And also don't forget, you need to come over here to the link and add your link. Okay, now once you're done with that, you can just hit save and save one more time, and pretty much your social media icons are all set. Now over here to the right, we have a button. So let me show you how to go in and customize it. So I'm going to click here on our module settings, and this is our button settings. Again, as we did on our social media icons, you need to add your button URL. So in this case, it needs to direct to the contact us page. So you need to get that URL, paste it in here so that when people click on it, they get directed to that page. Next, I'm going to come over here to design button. So this is where we can change our background color. So let's say you want to change the color. You can just click here on your colors, and you can see here now it's nice and bright and it's pretty visible. So that's pretty much what you can do here to change your color. And also, if you want to change the font, you can come over here to button font, and we can use all these fonts here. All these are Google fonts. So my favorite here is Poppin. So I'm going to just choose that, and you can see it has updated. And if you want to increase the size as well, you can increase the size of the text and also change these icons. All right, so pretty much that's how you add that button. Okay, so next let's take a look here at this section. So I can see here we have some borders. In fact, you know what? Let's start with the background color. So I'm going to click here on my section settings, go to my background, and this is the color here that we have. And notice when I change it here, it is also updating. So this is where you can update your header using these colors that we have here from our color palette. All right, so I'm going to close out of here. The next step now is to see how we can customize those lines that we have, this top one and bottom one. So to customize those, you need to go into row settings. And this is where we can either just come to these three little dots here, and then you want to view modified styles. So this will show you everything that has been modified on this row. Okay, so you can see your padding here, maximum width, and this is where we have our borders. So if you want to make changes to your borders, let's start with the top one here. So you can totally get rid of it like that if you're not a fan of that, or you can keep it on there and change its color by just choosing your colors here on the bottom. I'm not sure if you can see that. And the same applies to the bottom one. So if you want to make changes to the bottom one here, you can also change your colors like that. Okay, so let's move on now to our logo. So to change this or to update this, you want to click here on this gear icon. Now this is our menu settings. So this is where our logo goes. So in your case, you want to go in here and add your own logo. So there's several logos here. So let's pretend this is our logo here. I'm going to select this one. But of course, in your case, you want to add your own logo. You can see here that it's been updated. And if you want to further customize this, you can click here on this paintbrush icon. And then you want to go into your logo, and sometimes there may be a case that it's too big or it's a bit too small. You can go into your sizing, and you can see here we have our logo width. So this is where you can play around with this until you're happy with the size. All right, so let's move on to the next part, and that is here on this text. So to customize our menu text, come over here to menu text. You can change our font here on this drop down. So let me look for my font. So let's say I want to use Poppins. Right away, you can see it's been updated, and we can also change our colors. So right now, the color that I've changed is the active link color. So if you want to change the menu text color itself, you can just come over here. Now you can see that it's been updated. In fact, let's put a different color. There you go. So you can see there it's been updated. So this is how you customize it. If you want to make the text smaller, you can just come over here, make it smaller like that. If you want to increase some letter spacing, you can do that too by coming over here. And pretty much that's what you need to do here. Now, because this is a menu, it has all these links all going to the right places. And also in our content here, we can choose the actual menu, but we need to have created this beforehand. So when you click on this drop down, you can choose the actual menu over here. Okay, so pretty much that's what we need to do to make changes to our header area. Let's take a look and see how we can customize our footer. So I'm going to close out of here. I'm not going to save anything here and click on this pencil icon again, as we did before with the header. Okay, so as you can see here, we have a massive footer. So let's start by taking a look at the background. So I'm going to click on my section settings here, go to the background. So this is our main background color. So you can see when I change the color here, it is changing the whole background like that. Okay, so that is where you can add your color. I'm going to close out of here. Next, let's take a look at our row settings. So here we can go to the three little dots here and let's see what has changed here. So I'm going to go to view modified styles. And here we have this background color. So this is where you can change the background like that. Okay. Next, we have some padding, and this is the space inside here, which is brilliant. And pretty much that's all we can change here in our row settings. Okay, so now let's go into these individual modules. So here we have this text. So this is just a title and it's set to heading 2. So if you wanted to change that, you can either highlight over here, click on this paintbrush icon. This is going to take you directly to heading 2, and you can change your fonts over here like that. We can also change the colors, and we can also change the sizes. So we can reduce it, we can make it bigger, and so on. Okay, next, let's take a look at this paragraph text. So I'm going to click here on this gear icon to go into my text settings. And again, if you want to make changes to this, you can just click on this pencil icon and change the color of the text like that. If you want to increase the size, you can increase it. If you want to change the font itself, you can come over here and change it. There we go. Okay. I'm going to close out of here. Next, we have this button here. I'm going to click on this gear icon. And we can change our button call to action text here. So we can change this to perhaps subscribe. Now, what is important as well is to make sure you add a link to this so it can link directly to where you want it to go. Now, if you want to design this, you can come over here to the design tab, click on button. And now we can start looking at all the settings that we can add to this button or even change. So first of all, we have our text color. So we can change our text color here to whatever text we want, but I'm going to keep it light since we have a dark background. We can also change the color of the button. Okay. And over here, we also have some letter spacing. We also have fonts we can change here as well. So let's say you want to change this to Poppins. We can just do that. And you can see here, it has changed. So pretty much that's all we need to do to customize our button. And over here, we also have this image. So this image here is a bit special because it doesn't have a background. So let me just show you what this looks like. So this image here is a PNG file. You can see here on the top. So that means it doesn't have a background. That is why it's blending in very well over here. Okay. Right. So moving on, we also have these links here. So to make changes to these, the quickest way to do this is by doing what is known as inline editing. So we can click here on our module settings, and this will take us to our text settings. So this is our email address. We can change this, and we also have a link here, and this will open up the email service, and you'll be able to send your email that way. Okay. And all these are text modules. If you double click here, it's going to take us into our text settings, and you can change your text over here just by modifying it like that. Okay. We also have our social media buttons here, and to customize them, you can go into our social media follow settings, and just like I did before on the header, make sure you go to each and every one of these and add your link. This is what ensures this to go to your profile pages when your visitors come to your website. Okay, so moving on, we also have these links here. So I'm going to click on my module settings. And again, this is a text module. So all you have to do is to replace this with your own links. And you also want to click here on this chain icon and add your URL. By doing that, when the visitors click on the website or on these links, they will be directed to whatever page it is that you want them to go to. And this is the same on all these other columns. All right, so we have this background shape here. So let me show you where to customize it. So I'm going to click here on my row settings, click on background, and here we have our gradient. So this is how our gradient is working. You can see it's dark here on the top and lighter on the bottom. But for that to show through, we have this transparency. Okay, so you can adjust this the way you want, like that. And then over here, we also have an image. So that image is what's showing here in the background. Okay, so that is how that is shown. All right, so I'm just going to close out of here. And if you want your settings to apply after you've made all your changes, just click here on Save Changes. And this will save all the changes to your header and footer. And pretty much you are good to go. So there you have it. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and do follow us on our social media platforms. By doing so, you'll be notified every time we release new tutorials. Until next time, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.